just a reminder, free shipping month of July if you use this host code at checkout. If it's a $75 retail before shipping and tax, I can refund you your shipping via your PayPal account. And if you don't have a PayPal account, let me know and we'll work with you on that. So this is for July 2022. So today we're going to be working on this card here. It's a Christmas card, Christmas greetings, and the best part is it is a pop-up card. Do you see that? Is that not an awesome pop-up card? It's got 3 levels, well actually 4 if you count the back. Lots of pretty stars. So with what I used for this card is I used the tree lot dies for cutting out my trees, and these are a celebration item that is free with a $100 retail purchase from Stampin Up. If you purchase $100 before shipping and tax during celebration, which ends August 31st, 2022, you can get this free. Is this not awesome? It's always nice to get free stuff, but this is an awesome thing to get free. So that's free. The matching stamps that I used are in the mini catalog, the July-December 2022 mini catalog. Somebody's blowing their horn. Why? They must know I'm doing a video. So this you purchase for $22 in the mini catalog, which is good till December 31st, 2022. But the dies are only free with celebration until August 31st, 2022. So if this is something you want to get to play with, get it now, because it's also while supplies last. So I'll give you the dimensions. A lot of the stuff I've already done, because with the pop-up card there is a lot of work, and I don't want you to be here till after dinner time. So we'll start out. The first thing we have to do is make our cutter, our inside where we cut all the things. Now I don't want you to get disappointed. I don't want you disappointed, but I also don't want you to get discouraged, because it's easy to do when you think, oh well, I can't do that, that's too much work. It's if you follow the instructions and you're careful, and you can start on a piece of plain white paper, so that if you mess up, you know, it's just a plain white paper. But do it a couple times on some plain paper, and then when you feel confident, bring it on in with your trimmer. We've got our scoring blade here. This is Night of Navy cardstock. It's 5 1/4 by 8 1/4. So 5 1/4 by 8 1/4, Night of Navy. And I'm going to cut strips. So I'm going to start with 2 3/8. So there's 1, 2, 2 3/8. Take your time, don't rush. Your little blade should start at 4. Push it down in the cardstock. You're going to go up to 3 1/4. There's a little line here. Match that with 3 1/4. And then you're going to come down to 5. Match that little notch to 5. You just made your first cut. Don't you feel good? Now you're going to slide that over to 2 7/8. 2 7/8. Get it to 4. Push it down. 3 1/4. And then up to 5. Yay! That's the first one. And I hope we did that right. Now we're going to go down to 3/8. This one's a little harder. 3/8 of an inch. You can make sure down here that it's kind of where it needs to be. I'm going to hold it there, put this down. Whoops, put this to 4 before I push this down. Come on. Okay, push it down. So now we're at 3/8 of an inch. My paper is cardstock 3/8 of an inch. I'm going to go down to 3 3/8. You have to do this in good light, because if you don't, you won't be able to see these little notches. 3 3/8 to 4 5/8. 3 3/8, 4 5/8. We're going to slide it over to 7/8 of an inch. This is a little easier. Here, back to our 4. Push it down again. 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. This is the hardest part. 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. But it all comes together in the end. Okay, so now we're going to slide it over to 4 3/8. Sometimes those 8s are kind of hard to find. Notches at 4. We're going to go to 3 3/8 and 4 5/8. 3 3/8, 4 5/8. Slide it over to 4 7/8. Notches at 4. 3 3/8, 4 5/8. 3 3/8, 4 5/8. Now we're almost done. Okay, just got a few more. We're going to bring it down to 1 1/4. Notches at 4, keeping our cardstock straight. 1 1/4. We're going to go down to 3 1/8 and up to 4 3/8. 3 1/8, 4 3/8. Slide it over to 1 3/4. 3 1/8. 4 3/8. 3 1/8, 4 3/8. Last 2. Slide it over to 3 1/2. 3 1/2. Notch at 4. Down to 3 1/8. 4 3/8. 3 1/8, 4 3/8. And then last one to 4. So we got it at 4, and notch it at 5 at 4. 3 1/8, 4 3/8. 3 1/8, 4 3/8. We are done. So this is the top, this is the bottom, and let's go over here, flip it over, and put a T in the corner so that we know that's the top and this is the back. So top and back. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to put this away. Now we're going to do some scoring. If you don't have the scoring tool, you can use your scoring board, but I'm going to tell you it's much easier with the scoring tool. So half of 8 1/4 is 4 1/8. So it doesn't really matter which way we do this right now, but so I'm going to find 4 1/4. I'm going to bring this in the camera so y'all can see. 4 1/8. 4 1/8. I'm going to score only to that first line, that first cut line. Do you see? I only score to that first cut line. I've got glue on my fingernail. Now I'm going to bring in a ruler, and I'm going to skip those 2 lines, 1, 2, and I'm going to score to the next line. And I'll bring it up so you can see. Okay, so I scored to the first line. I skipped 1, 2. Now I'm going to score to the next line, which is the third line from the edge. I'm going to skip 2, 1, 2, and score to the next line at 4 1/8. And this ruler really helps. Okay, so I'm skipping 2 and I'm scoring to the next cut. Alright, so score, 2 cuts, score, 2 cuts, score, 2 cuts. So I'm going to do all that all the way to the other edge. Score 2 cuts and then score 2 cuts. Okay, so basically you can see score, no score, score, no score, all the way down. I hope that you're not lost. You're basically scoring everything but the little cuts that you made, the little strips. Okay, so this is our back. So I put a T there, T in the back. Now this is the fun part. Rather than have you do a lot of scoring, I thought I would have you do it this way. I'm going to get my scoring tool or a pencil. Now, like I said, you could do that with your scoring tool on your cutter, your trimmer, but I don't recommend it. Okay, so I'm trying to remember which way I went. So here's my score, where I scored. I'm going to go. Everything that didn't get scored is going to the back. Everything that got scored is going to the front. Now you could do this with a pencil. Okay, so these are all my scored, and then these are going to be all my strips here. So I'm going to try to, I just did that to kind of give it a little, separate them pretty well, and then I can pull it out, and now they're a little more separated, so it's easier to work with. So where I've done my scoring, I'm going to bend as much as possible, as much as it'll let me. I'm going to bend and pinch, but I don't want to do the ones that didn't get scored. And it's not really cooperating, so I'm going to do as many as I can, because it's easier if I do this first. Even if I can just do a little bit, just enough to get so that this knows which way it's supposed to go. I'm going to put this back in. This should be a little easier. The more you do it, the easier it gets. So now I want to pinch the edges. The ones that so this is where I scored. These are my strips, and I'm just kind of pinching them, trying not to bend them in the middle. Just bend them on the edge where they meet the cardstock. This will make it easier. Alright, so that I did it so well that fell out. So you can see how this is my score line. I'm pinching it really good. And then these are where my strips are, and I'm pinching them really good. Now this is going to help them find their way. So now I'm ready to fold on my score line, but I don't want to fold, just smash it down. I want to take this, a bone folder or this, and push those forward, the little things forward so that when you do this, you get this. Hopefully. So I'm going to go ahead and take my bone folder. And now I'm doing the inside here. And I've got that ready to, now if you're confused which is top, just go back to find your T and you'll see that's the top. The other thing is these two will be further back. If these two are closer, you've got it upside down. These two should be further back than these three here. Okay, so that is our mechanism, and that was a job, right? But we don't care because it's going to be an awesome card. So we'll set that aside and we're going to do our goodies. The first thing we're going to do is the, where's my tray? I'm going to, that goes to the front. 1, 2, 3. I did 3. There's 3 sizes of trees. And then you have the base die, and then you have the die that does the snow. Okay, so for the front we're going to need, you have to cut, I think it is, well, let me see. That one I didn't do because I wanted to show you. Just let me get them all out and I will tell you how many you need. This has been kind of a fun card for me. It's hot in my craft room too. Afternoon sun is coming in the window and it's really hot, even with the door open. Okay, so let's see, how many of these did we need? We ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4 big trees. So this was one die and this was the other die. And I'll tell you, I put, when I cut the white, I put adhesive backing on the back of the cardstock so that when I die cut it, it would have this backing on it. And you just don't want to do it without the adhesive backing, because it would never work. But we do sell that, adhesive sheets. If you're looking for it in the annual catalog, adhesive sheets, and you put the sheet on the back of the cardstock, you put the sticky stuff there, and there's plenty of videos out there for you to see if you don't know how to use them. I even made one a while ago. Okay, so it looks like I've got 4 of each. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm supposed to have 5 of these. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 4, and then 4 of these. So that's what you need. 4 of the big ones, 4 of the medium, and 4 small. And so let's do the cute thing, which is the trailer, the little camper van. So for that you're going to need, I cut it 3 times, and I'm going to tell you why. This is kind of like, if you like the Cricut, you might like these types of dies that have all these little pieces, but you don't have to do it by your computer. You can just do it with your little machine. Okay, So the basic color of this is balmy blue. So I cut the camper out in balmy blue. But I wanted my door to be a different color. This is one of the dies. It actually is one die that cuts both of these pieces, and I cut this in gray granite. And I'm just going to put tiny little dots of glue, hopefully. And this goes down here just to give it a little fancy look. Use your glue because that way you can move it and match it up. And then this is the top. Like I said, these cut as one piece. There's one die that cuts both of these pieces. I've got glue stuck here. And this is going to go to the top of our balmy blue. I had to think about what color I wanted my camper to be, and I realized I liked blue and silver together. I thought that would be fun. Now the black is for, all I need for the black is that tire. So I'm just going to cut that tire off, and the rest is just trash. So I'm just going to get rid of it so it doesn't get in the way. And down here, see, I wanted to make this like really like look realistic, and so make sure I get the right side over. Whoops. Come on. So there's my tire. Now for the gray, I'm going to cut, this is smoky slate. I'm cutting that off because it's going to go there. I'm cutting the tire off. I think before I do that though, I'm going to cut, I'm not going to cut the tire off. I'm going to cut around for the hubcap. It's easier to do before, to cut it before you take it off. And that's maybe picky for some people. You don't have to do the hubcap if you don't want to. But I'm going to do the hubcap. Tiny dot of glue. So tiny. There's the hubcap. See, it makes it look realistic. I mean, now I wanted the door, so I'm going to cut the door off. Now you guys don't have to do all of this if you don't want to. I'm just using the line to follow along, cutting along that line around the door. So little of the door shows anyway, but if I'm going to do something, I want to do it right, so I'm going to put a little bit up at the top. There's my door. Now for this part, I'm going to put some glue there. Little dots. You get pretty good at little dots of glue after a while of practice. Okay, so there's my camper. Now I wanted some lights coming from the back. So I have a piece of 1 7/8 by 7/8 so saffron, 1 7/8 by 7/8. I'm just going to put it behind the camper like that. And I will just put some glue. It doesn't have to be fancy, just something to hold it in place. This glue will hold it, so I just don't want it to show. Maybe I didn't need to put that glue there. I'll wipe it off. And I will get my embossing buddy and just touch it so it doesn't get sticky, because with this you don't want anything sticking that's not supposed to stick. It will interfere with the mechanism. Now they included some little curtains. I put, this is not tranquil tie, Tahitian tied, and I did die cut this on with the adhesive backing too, because I knew there was no way I was going to be able to do this otherwise. But I thought Tahitian tied gave it a nice, you know, look. I'm done with that. They give you the darling little wreath, so we'll go ahead and put that on our door. Again, tiny dots of glue. Whoops, turned it over. Goes over the door like that. Now this bow I did die cut with adhesive. So I try to keep in my scraps, if I do adhesive backing on a color, I put it with my scraps so that it doesn't go to waste. Because I didn't want to do adhesive backing on Poppy Parade, by the way, that's what color this is, just for a couple of bows. So I just put that in there now. That's our, and we are ready to put that on the snowbank. So we're going to get a piece of get my snowbank pieces. Alright, so we have, this is 1.5 by 4 3/4. 1.5 by 4 3/4. I scored it at 1 1/4, at 1 1/4, a quarter from the edge. So I'm going to fold that back. And crease it. This is a piece of, these both are the same, 2 by 1 3/4, scored at a quarter. So 2 by 1 3/4, scored at 1/4. That's for both of these. So a lot of this I try to do ahead of time, so that so this is going to be like a snowbank, so I'm mostly going to just go like, put like in the center and then down like that. Doesn't have to be fancy. And then these are going to be like snowbanks too, or part of a snowbank. So like that and like that. So this is what we're going to put our camper on, and we want the tires to be at the bottom of the fold, but not past the fold, or it will interfere. And we want it kind of in the middle. We just need to make sure we leave room for our tree sign. I like the tree sign to kind of go all the way over to the corner. And then that will also leave room for one of the smaller trees. The smallest tree is going to go there. So where can I think I'll just mark that with an X where the tire is going to go. That will let me know where to put it. I'm not sure how much is going to be covered by I don't want to overdo, but if I do overdo, there's my X, that's where my tire is going to go. See, I did a little bit over, so I'm going to get that off with my finger, wipe my finger off, get my Boss and Buddy off, and just tap that. Any excess will just wipe away with a cloth. I've got a microfiber cloth here. Alright, so now we need a little tree. It's going to go there. I'm going to put that on with some glue dots. Glue dots are faster. So I put a couple down at the bottom. Again, not past my trees for sale. I'm going to put that on with the glue dot. I think one should be enough. Alright, so we have this. That's the first level. The second level, doesn't matter which one of these you get, is going to be a large tree and a small tree, like that. A large tree and a small tree. So you just want to be able to fit them like that. Again, I'm going to use glue dots. I'm only going to use them at the bottom, and I don't want to go past that fold. Okay, that's ready to go on. On the other one, we're going to put a large tree and a medium tree. So glue dots again. For the large tree, and then glue dots for the medium tree. Okay, so there's our next layer. That's going to go behind here. And then we're going to have this, and so we need a large tree, sticking to my fingers, and a medium tree and another medium tree, and these others are going to go on front, so we can set them aside. Alright, let's start building. First thing we're going to do, so remember, make sure your T is at the top. We're going to put our lights up. So what I have is I have two of the poles die cut in early espresso, and I have the lights. And the lights I colored with light cherry cobbler. Will be this one here and the one next to the end. And then we have light shaded spruce. You can use any colors that you have. These are just the colors that I chose. And then light shaded spruce over here on the end. Got a little crazy there. I should have taken my time. Then we have dark Daffodil Delight for that one, and then for this one we have dark Balmy Blue. But like I said, you can color them any color that you want. Now this is going to go got a phone call. Sorry. Never fails. So this is going to go here. And I just want to kind of get an idea where it's going to go. And I think I will mark this one so I know where to put it. So tiny dots of glue, tiny, 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 one on each light, and then one on the ends. I marked where this one goes, so that's where I'm going to put it. Pretty much and then these, just want to make sure they're not too long. If they're too long, you might need to cut them. And I'm just going to cut mine anyway. I'm going to cut like about 1/4 of an inch off, just so I don't have to worry about it. Now you could die cut these with adhesive backing as well. I'm trying to turn that over. Well, it doesn't want to turn over. But some things I can do dots of glue and some things I can't. This I was able to. So basically that little notch is where you want it, right over the edge of that, where the string ends. Whoops. Whoops, whoops, whoops. So where this string ends is where my, and I'm putting it in between these two here, if you can see. That's where I'm putting it. Okay, now I have my lights. Yay! I'm going to wipe my hands off because I also have sticky fingers. Okay. It's best to kind of build it up from the back to the front. And one of these is going to go there. Now, and one's going to go here. One of the big ones is going to go there. And you don't want it to interfere with either of these things here. So you're going to go ahead and put some glue here on the second one. Not a lot. Place it where you think you should have it. And then bring it down and make sure that it's not interfering. And this one's really close, but I might be able to move it over a little bit. Okay, let's just let that set for a while. All right, then we're going to put a medium one here and maybe up a little bit because it's going to be in the back and it's really not going to show. If we put it all the way down, it might not show. So we're going to put it about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom fold. And again, if you get extra goo, wipe it off, let it dry, and then you can hit it with your, if you don't have something like this, you could use powder or anything that is going to stop the sticky. Okay, so there we go. Now we want this one, the other medium one, to be about the same height as these two here, maybe in between those two heights. So I'm going to cut about 1/2 inch off well, 3/8 of an inch I'm going to start with. And it's going to go right there, not where you thought maybe. It's going to go right there. Put that on with some glue dots. Right above there. Ta-da! We are building our card. Next, our two, the big ones go on the outside. We need to, well, let's do this one first. So let's center it, distance from here to here, and put it up there, and then you're going to mark it across on the each side of this here, and then you're going to cut, because this will be in the way if we don't cut it, but don't cut past that where you here, you don't want it to, so that's where you're going to put this. So this is going to kind of give you an idea of where to put these. You want these edges to be even from the edge, like that. You don't want it like that or like that. You want them even. So that's going to help you know where your even is. Going to mark these. And you're going to cut from the edge over like that. And then this one, you're going to do this side, remember the big one there, and you're going to match those sides up, and you're going to mark this, and then you're going to cut from the edge and then here across. We are ready to put these on. Now, I think I'll put the front ones on because I want the back ones to be even with the front. So dots of glue. You don't want too much. This needs to be right up against that at the bottom. You want it right up against it so that when it comes down, when you glue it there, there's not going to be a gap. So let's just push that down. Okay, and then before we glue it to this, we're going to put these in place. So this one is going to go here. And if you need to trim this a little because that tree's in the way, you can do that too. Okay, this one. This is going to glue to the bottom. So even on the edges, glue that to the bottom. Let it set. Oh, my Stampin' Up order just came. Yay! Alright, I ordered some more stuff for another round of paper shares, so if you want paper share, let me know. I'm going to glue this one. This is for the holiday catalog, by the way. And you want that right up against there. And even with the side, I need to slide it over. And that's kind of sticky, so I'm going to hit it with this. I'm going to hit both of them with it just in case. All right, we're getting there. We are getting there, I promise. Okay, so now we need to glue these to the mechanisms. So right there's some glue, and right there's some glue, and right there's some glue. This one goes up against here. This one goes up against here. And this one goes up against here. And the best way to get those to set is just to push it down like this. Now, I forgot to tell you that's garden green that I used. And there's your pop-up. Yay! Alright, so now we need to put some stars. I have several, but I'm not sure what that's for. Why that's in there. That's kind of jumped in there, I guess. Let's see, we need that, and some stars. And of course I did the stars with adhesive backing on them. Will make it so much easier. And those stars are in with the tree dot. You could put it on the tree if you wanted to put a star at the top of your trees, but these are trees that are at the tree lots, so they don't have stars on them. Okay, this is 5 by 2 7/8, and it is the sweetest something. It's the candy cane paper, the candy cane DSP. Yeah, this is fun. This was fun for me, and I wanted to do this for you guys. So I probably should have. 5 by 2 7/8. It's the sweetest DSP or something like that. There's an 1/8 of an inch all around. And then this came from the dies that I use all the time. Scalloped contour dies. It's the 3rd largest. This one right here. 1, 2, 3. You guys know that by heart probably by now. I'm just gonna use glue because I do want to be able to move this if I need to. Now there's not a lot of room to write a note, but you could always send a letter, you know. It seems like used to be we would send out an annual family newsletter with our Christmas cards, and I kind of miss that we don't do that anymore. Alright, so I'm going to try to copy these these stars. First I'm going to get some stuff on my fingers because there's no way I can do this with my fingers the way they are. They won't pick anything up. So all right, this is going to be tedious, but we're in this together. So yeah, this would be fun to do as one special card. You would not want to do a lot of these unless you were just where does this go? I'm going to put it here. Unless you just, you know, had tons of time to kill. It's a creative endeavor. It is really not something you would make a lot of. If you had one special person that you wanted to impress, this would be good to give anyone. Any age would enjoy getting this fun card. And the good thing is that they can display it, and it will look so awesome on their mantle or wherever they put it. It will look awesome. But definitely don't want to do this for your Christmas card this year. It would take you some time. I'm just glad that I went ahead and did all of this other stuff ahead of time so that I am not keeping you guys forever. I'm hoping to do this in an hour. And I realized today that I really need to make my cards less detailed, but sometimes it's fun. But I can't do this every week. It would be too much for me, but I enjoy it. All right, there's all my stars. It's a starry night over the tree lot. It's so adorable. Okay, so now we're going to put that on our card base, which is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Fold it away and crease that fold. And now we're going to do this with glue. Center it. You want to make sure that you get these corners because that's what's holding it in place. And I'm getting little dots. I actually want a little bit bigger dots. When you want little, you get big, and when you want big, you get little. That seems to be the way it goes. I think it's clogged up. It gets that way sometimes. You just have to pinch it a few times and get the dried stuff off. Plus, this is not... I've also found that if you don't use a brand new, if you got to do little dots, don't use a brand new bottle of glue. It works better if... Okay, let's see. I'm going to push those in and fold that down and scoot that over because it's not... Okay. Now I will tell you, this is going to be a thick card, so unless you're giving it to somebody in person, you're going to have to pay extra postage most likely. But unless you include it in a gift or something, a package with gifts, which I'm sure the recipient wouldn't mind that at all. Make sure that stays down. Do the same thing on this side. Corners. Now it's coming out a little better. You definitely don't want it oozing. Close that down. That's pretty simple, huh? Not a big deal. Let it set. Now, this is our top. And for our top, I have some more of that same Swedish DSP 4 by 5 1/4. And it's also from there. And do I want glue? Sure, why not? 4 by 5 1/4 DSP from that Swedish something. You'd think since I'm a demonstrator I would know the names of these things, but there's just so many that I can't keep track. Okay, so that goes on the front. Oh, that's such a cute card. I love it. Love, love, love it. Now I've got some snowbanks. This snowbank, the bigger one, goes over here. I started out with a 1 3/4 by 4 piece of basic white, 1 3/4 by 4, and I trimmed it with basic borders dies. I used this. Now if you don't have that, you could just trim it by hand. But I put this, the paper, the cardstock was like this, and I just kind of did this and ran it through. And then this one, a smaller one, was 1 1/4 by 3 1/2, and I just did the same thing with it. Just so you know, I'm going to put this one on first, and it's going to go down here in the corner with some glue. That was 1 by 3 1/2, cut with the basic borders dies. But like I said, if you don't have them, just take your scissors and make a snowbank. Just make a curve. I liked to use these because it has that awesome stitching. And then this one's going to go on this side. And this started out at 1 3/4 by 4. And it's going to go right there. Now our trees, we have, let me get my glue off my fingers. We have I don't want to lose one of these guys. So this is going to go here, a medium here, and then a little one there. The large one we're going to put on with some glue. Or we could put it on with, could have put it on with glue dots. I think that's what I actually did before. Now this one that's going to go here, I'm going to put it on with some mini dimensionals. So, and I'm not going to put them on the tree, I'm going to put them here. That way I'm good to go to know that they're not going to go on top of this tree and make extra bulk. So there we go for that. And then this one I can put, I think, safely. No. Make sure that's not going to go over there. Yeah. Alrighty. It's going to go kind of down. Maybe not down that far. There. And then over here, glue dots for this tree. And it's going to go on this right there. Now this here, I'm like, well, I need something for this nice long greeting here. So I came up with, from the annual catalog, Christmas season, and then seasonal labels dies. Now if you like labels, these cut out these images, but they also have some awesome labels. So I used this nice long label here, but you can see it has other labels. This is Christmas, but it's in the annual catalog. So this seasonal labels dies, and it goes with the Christmas season stamps. So that's where I got this in garden green, and then I just stamped in garden green on a piece of 3 3/8 by 3/4. 3 3/8 by 3/4, and it just fits right there. And I definitely need to get my fingers goopy because it doesn't want to hold on to anything. Again, I'm just going to put some dots of glue. This way I can slide it around a little bit. I know I'll need to. There we go. And that's going to go right here. Trying to keep that glue off my fingers. It's almost impossible. I think I might put this on with glue dots. We'll see. Hope I don't regret it. I'm going to twist this off. Twist. And it's about 1/4 of an inch from the edge here, and then just where you think it looks right, about 3/8 of an inch from the top. And then it needed something, so I got out my iridescent pearl basic jewels. I'm going to use the big ones. These are new, and I think these are in the annual catalog, the new annual catalog. And they just add just enough sparkle and bling to keep it looking elegant. Now the interesting thing is this card on the outside, it looks so elegant, but then when you pop it open it looks so juvenile and cute. So you get the best of both worlds. So I hope you enjoyed doing this card with me. I tried to keep it to an hour, and I hope you'll give it a try. Don't let it scare you. It's definitely fun. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.